We want all cops to be held accountable. We want the justice system to be transparent and to be fair. These are the words of 22-year-old Asian American activist Jess Fong, who's speaking out in New York City about a recent unrest, if we will. Let's discuss. So, like I said, Jess Fong is a 22-year-old activist among many Asian American activists in New York City, speaking out against a wrongful conviction against a New York City police officer. But where this story takes an interesting turn is the fact that it's not Asian Americans against black people fighting for the justice that our justice system should be providing. No, in fact, it's them uniting. It's people like Jess Fong speaking out against the law enforcement officials in this case and the justice system that seems to be failing everybody involved. They're speaking out against Peter Leung's wrongful second-degree homicide conviction after a bullet ricocheted and killed Akai Gurley, an African-American man, and it's the first conviction of manslaughter to be received by a New York City police officer in over a decade. So this has many Asian Americans wondering, is this just white privilege at work? Is this just systemic racism taking one minority and throwing him to the wolves to help satisfy the anger of another minority? We, as white people, need to take a minute and think. What the hell are we standing up for if we don't say something against this stuff? I mean, this is bold, in-your-face systemic racism. The fact that an Asian American police officer, after a bullet ricocheted and killed a man, is being held accountable for those actions, and yet we watched how many officers choke Eric Garner to death? We watched an officer get away with murder after the Trayvon Martin case. We've seen time and time again the justice system failing the black community. We haven't been paying attention to how it's failing every other minorities community. Women, Asian Americans, Latinos, Native Americans, LGBT community. There are so many people out there being abused by our justice system, and we blindly walk forward saying freedom for all, justice for all. This is insanity. This girl, this 22-year-old Jess Fong, I applaud you for standing in your truth and speaking up for you and your community. I think we need more people like you. We need more youth like you. This is ridiculous, and it is systemic racism. I hate the fact that white privilege is dominating this country. The idea that just because of your skin color you are entitled or deserving more than somebody else, that is insanity. If you went to another part of the world where you were the minority, you would be screaming for your white privilege back, and that is the problem in this country. We are offered it every day that we don't realize it when it's being handed to us. Now, I'm not saying every white person is racist, and I'm not saying that every white person is contributing to the systemic problem. However, we as white people have a responsibility to do more and to speak up. Because as we all know, and we talk about it and we drill it into the youth, it's just as bad if you sit on the sidelines and watch a bully pick on a victim rather than speaking up and helping them, and that is what Jess Fong is doing, and that is what we need to do in support of all minorities, because there will come a time when the minorities run out, and then who are they going to be left with? They're going to come after you. Power-hungry people are never satisfied. Whether they're driven by greed of money or greed of power, it's never going to be satisfied. It's insatiable. So unless we decide to take a stand and say, this isn't right, we want all police officers held accountable, and if you hold a state or federal position, you should be held up to a higher standard of being able to do the job against your convictions. This whole Kim Davis fiasco, what an outrage. For her to be able to say that her God and her Bible does not approve something that the Supreme Court deemed a human right, like you cannot go against that, she is unconstitutional, and the fact that she has supporters, those are the people that we are talking to right now. That is white privilege. That is the ability to spit in a system's face when it doesn't work for you. However, when somebody else tries to do the exact same, you judge them or you condemn them. And it's this problem that we're dealing with forever and ever because we're not tackling the root of it. Why are white people so fucking fragile? Why can't we talk about race? Why can't we talk about the fact that there are injustices in this country and that we as white people add to them continually and we're not doing enough to fix them? We need to take umbrage with the fact that us as white people are being used as pawns in this chess game to take the brunt of the anger and the hate, because the people with power are forcing us to make decisions where do you want to be comfortable versus do you want to stand up for your fellow man. This is stuff you need to think about. I don't care if you agree or disagree. This isn't an agree or disagree issue. This is a humanitarian issue. This is we need to make a decision really soon before another war starts or before humanity goes extinct. I mean, we're pushing the time limit here. It's 2016. We shouldn't be dealing with racism. This is ridiculous and ludicrous, and I don't know how many of my videos speak on the fact that the powers that be try to divide, and we need to unify. We need to unite through our diversities. And again, I'm so proud of people like Jess Fong standing up for her community and her convictions, and that's so important because her alone, even though she's just one voice, has already reached millions and millions of people. So, with just your voice, think of what you can do. Start speaking out. When you see something that feels injustice, say something about it. You don't have to stand by, and even if it is protecting the comfortability of your safe lifestyle, whether it's something that is white privilege, or if it's gender specific, or hetero specific, if you see an injustice that does benefit you, but speaking up, however, speaking up against it would do greater good for humanity, please choose that path, because honestly, we need more people like this. We need more activists. We need more people speaking out against those in power who abuse that power. Again, as Jess Fong had perfectly stated, all cops need to be held accountable, and the justice system needs to be transparent and fair for all. And that's all anyone in any minority is asking. We just want justice. And sometimes, like I said yesterday, justice means giving a little bit more to somebody who's been beaten up and bullied for generations or centuries. Sometimes you need to be able to offer more than you accept in order to seek justice, because equality sometimes just doesn't cut it. They're two different things, and we need to learn them. So take it upon yourself today to start a conversation with friends or family or coworkers, getting them talking about what is systemic racism. What do I do to contribute to it? What can I do being just one person, one young person? And what impact can I have? Because it's out there. There's many, and you can. Take this girl for an example. She is reaching ears across the world. It's incredible. The video had stated that it was translated into Chinese so it could be circulated amongst the Chinese internet. That is incredible. I mean, the internet is a tool for us all to take advantage of and to use while it still allows humanity free speech. Let's do that. Continue the conversation below in comments. Add your thoughts, your ideas. Be creative. Don't be censored. You aren't. And honestly, just do something to critically think and add to this conversation rather than just to spew hate, because I understand that racism hits a nerve with all of us. I understand we've been dealing with it for far too long, and that it seems like it'll be a long road ahead. However, I think we can change this in one generation. We need open minds, open hearts, and we need to have dialogue, and safe, comfortable, healthy dialogue where nobody is censored. So do your part, contribute to that. And again, I just want to do a shout out to Jess Fong. I think her and her community of Asian Americans standing with Peter Liang are incredible, and I love their message to the Black Lives Matter community. In full support, they want to offer support, they want to reach out and show that they are working with them, and I think that's incredible. More of us minorities need to do that, myself included, and we can all learn something from Jess. So with that being said, take care of yourself for the rest of the day and start a conversation, shall we? Peace out.